Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The effect of exercise on cardiovascular system. By the end of this presentation, we should be able to describe the cardiovascular system, what is composed of it and its function. Explain what is the effect of exercise on cardiovascular system. What type of exercise that affect on cardiovascular system. Now, the cardiovascular system or the circulatory system is an organic system that permits blood to circulate and transport nutrients such as amino acids, electrolytes, carbon dioxide, oxygen, hormone, and cell to and from the cell in the body, and also to assist in fighting diseases, regulate body temperature and pH, as we know. The cardiovascular system consists of continuous linkage of a pump, high pressure distribution circuit, exchange vessels, and long pressure collection and return circuit. The cardiovascular system is comprised of heart arterial system. It includes arteries, veins, and capillaries. Third, bloods. Fourth, pulmonary and circulatory system. Bloods, we have red and white blood cells, platelets. Pulmonary circuits carry bloods from the heart to the lungs, and systematic carry bloods from the hearts to the other parts of the body and back again. The function of cardiovascular system: transport oxygen and nutrient to different parts of the body and remove waste like carbon dioxide from the body. The body is affected by changes of temperature. So cardiovascular system control the body temperature, regulating and keeping it in an acceptable range. The cardiovascular system helps the body to fight diseases through blood cells, white blood cells, antibodies, and also platelets, which make the blood to clots in acute injuries and prevent the germ entering. So its work at protection to the body. Now, cardiovascular system and the influence of exercise on it. The effect of exercise on cardiovascular system can be determined by its effect on heart size, plasma volume, stroke volume, heart rate, cardiac outputs, oxygen extraction, blood flow and distribution, and blood pressure. Now we study one by one how these affect exercise effect on the heart size and all of these. Aerobic exercise usually enlarge the heart by increasing left ventricle cavity size and thickening of its walls. Cardiac enlargement of this type is called eccentric hypertrophy. Also, endurance training is associated with an increased cardiac outputs and volume loads on the left and right ventricles, causing the endurance trained heart to generate a mild to moderate dilatations of the left ventricles combined with a mild to moderate increase in left ventricle wall thickness. Now, plasma volume. The volume of plasma will be increased up to 20% occur within few training sessions. These adaptations enhance circulations and thermoregulatory dynamics and facilitate oxygens during exercise to deliver. The plasma volume is rapidly increased with aerobic training, also contributes to training induced eccentric hypertrophy. Now, stroke volume. Stroke volume is the amount of blood ejected by the left ventricle in one contraction. Although stroke volume can be referred to either left or right side of the heart, it is more associated with the left side. It is made in milliliter per beats and generally has normal volume of about 1 cc per kg. Long-term aerobic exercise training may also increase stroke volume, which frequently result in a lowering heart rate. Reduced heart rate prolongs ventricular diastole, fling, increase in diastolic volume, and ultimately permitting more bloods to be ejected at rates approximately 8 milliliter and during exercise up to 130 milliliter. Now heart rate. Heart rate, it is the speed of heartbeats measured by the number of contraction of the hearts per unit of time, typically heartbeats per minute. The typical human resting heart beats from 60 to 100 bpm yani beats per minute for child at 10 years and older and adult. Before exercise even begin, heart rates increase in anticipation. This is known as anticipatory response. It is mediated through the release of a neurotransmitter called as adrenaline and noradrenaline. Heart rate increase in direct proportions to exercise intensity until a maximum heart rate is reached. Now, cardiac outputs. The amount of blood pumped by the heart per time through the circulatory system. It also refers to the amount of blood pumped out of the left ventricle that supplies blood to the muscle and organ of the body. Cardiac output is made up of two components, heart rate and stroke volume. To measure cardiac outputs, we use this formula. The formula is that cardiac output is equals to stroke volume multiplied by heart rate. Cardiac outputs during exercise increase greatly owing to the relatively high heart rates that are achieved during exercise. Oxygen extraction. At the resting condition periods, the oxygen content of bloods vary from about 20 ml of oxygen per 100 ml of arterial bloods to 14 ml of oxygen per 100 ml of venous blood. 20 ml oxygen per 100 ml of arterial blood and 14 for 100 ml of venous. The difference in oxygen contents of arterial and venous blood is known as VO2 difference. When exercise intensity increases, then these difference also increase, and at maximal exertions, the distance between arterial and venous blood's oxygen concentration can be 3 times that at our resting level. Aerobic training significantly increases the quantity of oxygen extracted from arterial blood during exercise. Now, blood flow and distribution. Aerobic training causes large increase in muscle blood flow during maximal exercise owing to improvement in maximal cardiac outputs, redistribution of bloods from non-active area that temporarily compromise blood's flow all out effort. Within the trained muscle tissue, capillarization will increase. Now, blood pressure. The force exerted by the bloods on the wall of blood vessel is referred to as blood pressure. As we know, it is the force that keeps blood circulating and it is generated by the concentration of the left ventricle. At rest, our typical systolic pressure, blood pressure in a healthy individual range from 110 to 140 mmHg and 60 to 90 mmHg for diastolic blood pressure. During exercise, systolic pressure, the pressure during Contraction of the heart can increase to over 200 mmHg and level as high as 250 mmHg have been reported in highly trained healthy athletes. Now the exercise that affect on cardiovascular system includes aerobic training. Aerobic means the oxygen is required to produce energy in the body. This term is used to describe exercise that increase cardiopulmonary capacity. The basic principle of aerobic training are dependent on intensity, duration, frequency, and specificity of the exercise. Intensity of exercise is defined as the intensity of exercise performed or the physiological response of the individual. Often, intensity of exercise can be set as 80 to 85% of the maximum HR determined on baseline exercise tolerance test. Duration of exercise is usually 20 to 30 minutes, including 5 to 10 minutes warm up and a similar cooling down process after exercising. Now, frequency of training is defined as the number of exercise periods in a given time, usually expressed in a session per week. Specificity of exercise. Specificity of exercise refer to the type of exercise that are performed. These principle dictates that the type of activities and muscle group targeted in the exercise should be based on the needs of the individual in vocationally and recreational activities. Some of the aerobic exercise that provide maximum cardiovascular benefits includes walking, jogging, swimming, and bicycling. These are the reference. Thank you.